So today we're making some gnocchi soup and some almond flour brownies. I'm out of my favorite milk chocolate, but we're going to go ahead and use this. It takes brown sugar and some raw sugar and some eggs and salt. So we're going to go over and beat the stuff. Okay, so in order to make this recipe, I like this one the best. The one with the cocoa powder isn't my favorite. So this one, you melt the chocolate and you in with butter, and then you add in a little bit. I already just added in a little bit of, this is the Celtic sea salt. I added that in already, and some vanilla, and then you add your sugar in. And now we're going to temper the eggs. There's 2 beaten eggs, and we're going to temper them in with this stuff. And it's got to be done slow, or it messes stuff up and they get weird. So you need a helping hand here. Okay, so we're going to put some of this into the egg mixture here. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of this in there. A little bit more. More. Okay, yeah, now we're going to go for it. If this turns out, you won't end up with scrambled chocolate eggs. Alright, now we're going to get our almond flour, and we're going to put that in here, and then we're going to put it into the cake. I'm going to go ahead and start dumping it in there for me. A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. Okay, I'll come back when this is done because I need my other hand. Okay, so this is worked in. It looks really good. And we have our brownie pan. This is our King Arthur brownie pan, which is awesome. So this has been just lightly sprayed. And we're going to go ahead and put this in there. Okay, so we're going to weigh ourselves out about 4 ounces of chocolate, maybe a little bit more. And we're going to weigh ourselves out some almonds. It's sort of measure with your heart type of deal here. So okay, that's about 5 ounces. So got about 5 ounces of that. And then I'll get the almonds measured out. And I have some slivered almonds that need to be used. So I'm going to just use those. Okay, so that bag only had like 3.9. I'm just using stuff up. So this is a measure with your heart deal. So we're going to go put them in there, and then we'll kind of swirl them in. Okay, so I put all this on here, and I'm going to kind of smush them down in here. And yeah, I think there might be more than what it said on the recipe, but so I think it'll be fine. So put these in, they cook at 350, and it doesn't take too long. And they're very, very good. Gluten-free. Good ingredients. Okay, so we were going to make gnocchi soup, but we don't have some of the components. So we decided to go ahead and make some clam chowder. And this is sort of a knockoff of one of my favorite ones, which is from the Splash Cafe in Pismo Beach, California. So we're going to go ahead and I will tag the guy that I watched his video. I've made this before. This is the recipe that I like to use. Anyway, we use these minced clams and clam juice and some butter, bacon, onion, potatoes, and we're gonna get this going right now. Okay, so we didn't have celery and we have carrots out of the garden. So we're going to use carrots out of the garden. And these were picked in October. It is now February. They last that long if you just pull them out of the ground, knock the dirt off them, put them in a bag. They've been in the fridge. So you peel them, wash them, peel them, and I'm gonna put them on my handy dandy choppy here. And we'll get those in there. And no, the recipe doesn't call for that, but I think it'll be just fine. It's just a little bit like another little component of like sweetness, and it'll be just fine. Okay, so these potatoes were chopped up. These are Yukons, and they're just in some hot salted water. So we're just cooking them until they're fork tender, and I think they're just about there. So we're gonna drain these out, and we don't need to save any of the water. Okay, so we drained out the potatoes, and this is our La Crusade Dutch oven. I like this because it keeps the heat nice, even, especially with this kind of a stove that we have. So I'm sauteing this stuff off with the butter. We're going to throw some bacon in here to cook and get that going. Okay, so we have our bacon in, and I put 3 bay leaves, and they were dry, they weren't fresh, so I threw them in with the butter and all the things so that they would sort of liven up a little bit. And we're going to throw in garlic and some chopped up green onions. And at this stage of the game, the recipe says to add flour to it to thicken it up. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do mine with some dried potatoes to thicken our soup because I don't want a bunch of flour in it. That's a personal choice. I'm trying to kind of keep the gluten down a little bit. We are going to have it with sourdough, but, you know, I made the almond flour brownies and kind of just like to keep it that trend of a more low gluten dinner. Okay, everything has cooked down quite a bit. We're going to throw the green onions and throw the green onions in first, and then we're going to, after that cooks a couple minutes, we're going to throw in all the clam juice. I rinsed all the cans. I opened most of the cans. There was one that was stubborn, so my mom had to help me with that. And so we're going to get that all fixed up. The clams go in last. That's the key. All right, I have about 3 cups of clam juice, and I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And I'll get that going. And then we'll add the milk and the potatoes. Okay, we just put in some fresh cracked black pepper, a little bit of garlic salt, not a lot. And then I have some organic 2% milk, and I have some lactose-free half and half, which is what they had at the grocery when I went, so I got what I got. So I have about 1,000 milliliters of liquid. I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. And I'm going to get this going again, get it hot, and then I'm going to add some of my dry potato. It's from Bob's Red Mill. It's like if we're in a pinch and you don't feel like making mashed potato, we use these potato flakes, and I use them in a lot of stuff to thicken like these soups like this. So you don't have to use flour if you don't want to, or cornstarch. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going here in a second. Went ahead and added our potatoes that are cooked. And now we're going to kind of bring it back up to a simmer. And we're going to add our stuff to thicken it up. And some nutmeg. And we'll check for seasoning. And our clams. Okay, so I put in about, like a heavy rounded 2/3 of a cup of our potato flakes in this big pot of soup. So it's starting to thicken up now, and that's about perfect. It doesn't have to be so thick it's like gravy. Still want it to be kind of soup. So we're gonna get some sourdough toast going, and that'll be dinner tonight. Just added in the clams and a little bit of nutmeg, and I think it looks really good. I also threw some sourdough in the oven with some butter on them. So this is a nice dinner for a cold night like this. It's been very cold today, so this is hearty and fill you up and tastes good.